going on? RGIJ is back, baby. Now, you have tattoos, correct?
Yep.
How many do you have?
I don't say how many I have. I just sit there and say I got 2 sleeves. So I'm sleeved out. I got one on my chest. Well, because it's like, like, is it 10 of them or is it one? So I just say I got 2 sleeves. I got one on my chest. I got one on my back, I think. And I think that's about it, really. Besides my whole sleeve's done.
Are they meaningful or you just do random tats just to get?
No. They're all meaningful. They all, like, for me, they tell a story. They kind of, like, I can sit there and say, okay, hey, this was that, and this is where I was at in my life, and this is why I decided to put it in my body. Yeah, so they have meaning.
So I asked that because I was on Facebook, and I was on one of those, the military groups and everything else, and they were talking about the tattoo of the semicolon, the dot with the apostrophe, right?
Yeah.
So do you know the meaning behind the tattoo?
Yeah, I actually want to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? What is the meaning of that? I thought it was very interesting. I read the article, but do you know or?
Yeah. So, or from what my understanding is, like, you were suicidal in a sense, and then you decided not to do so. So it's kind of like that. You almost came to an end, but you decided to keep going forward.
Correct, man. And I found that so interesting because they was saying that the author, because the semicolon is continuation, right? So when you have related sentences, you just put the semicolon so you continue to keep writing your sentence and keep going onwards. Whereas when you end the sentence, you put the period. So they were saying in the context of mental health, the semicolon means that don't give up life. It's not over. Do not put a period on your life. Just continue to go on and so forth. So I thought that was really interesting. I was like, man, I know Mike has a bunch of fucking tattoos. And my nephew got 2 tattoos. He got one, and I always told him, I was like, because, I have one, my other brother has like around 2, but I always told him, you're going to get tats, just make sure that they're meaningful. Don't be putting just any random shit on yourself. So he has one of a Puerto Rico tribal type tattoo, and then he's really into EDM, so he has the DJ Avicii, his symbol, which is the 2 triangles. So he put that on his forearm. So... But
This is the one that just went into the Navy?
The one that just went into the Navy, yeah.
He been in for what? First paycheck.
For 2 months. 2 months, and he already got 2 tats.
Fuck, dude. So, okay. All right, I'm pretty sure you had like a really ding on this one. I got to hit 2 things, though. And maybe I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. Don't know. I don't understand this. I don't understand this about Puerto Ricans, all right? So y'all Boricuas. Y'all get the
Don't do it. Don't do it, Mike.
No, I'm not talking shit. I'm just curious. I've always wondered this about Puerto Ricans. You're not from the fucking island. What's the whole deal with like the whole like I'm gonna get this Puerto Rico stuff when it's like you're not and this is a weird one because it's like what are y'all like your family or something like that maybe, but it's like y'all are not at all. Like if you're straight from the island, and the only reason why I say this is because I've met Puerto Ricans from Puerto Rico. That I understand. It's like American wearing a flag, but it's like if you're, and this is how I equate it to, if you're sitting there saying my grandpa was American, but I've been living in Japan, or we're second generation, but I'm gonna get an American flag on me. It's kind of like it just I don't know. Puerto Ricans always wear the flag, but they don't live in Puerto Rico. So
it's
can you explain that to me?
It's a pride thing, man. It really is.
But
and
for what though?
I think in all Latin cultures, it's a pride thing. Because even I have friends that are Mexican that will get something from Mexico tattooed on them, and they didn't grow up or live there.
But so this is what's weird about Mexicans, though, right? So if you have a Mexican flag on you, everyone looks at you and be like, "For real?" Everyone's kind of like, no one's ever like sitting there like the moment you have a Mexican tattoo on you, and you're Mexican, right? Let's say, but you're from America. Everyone's looking at you first. Number one, you might be like you might be an illegal, or you might be from Mexico, right? Right? There would be some other things, but I don't want to, like it is what it is. But 2 is people are just kind of like it's like you're on the better side, like you won in a sense, like your story. Like why would you nobody really does that. Like that's what I'm saying. I have a weird thing. Yeah. I don't know. I guess that's just me.
But we've always, our races have always been that way. And a lot of it too, don't get me wrong, is where you're from. New York, Brooklyn, is Bronx, wherever, they're really big on Hispanic culture. So the Puerto Rican Day Parade is in New York. They celebrate that in June, July, whichever it is, and they, it's just really big. So it's funny that you say that, because remember in Honduras, our fucking police were from Puerto Rico, from the island, to where until this day, they do not agree that if I say, oh, I'm Puerto Rican, they'll be like, oh, where you from? And I say, oh, I'm from Brooklyn. You're not Puerto Rican. Why? Because you're not from the island, right? But again, my blood is the same color as your blood. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to spill Puerto Rican blood. You're going to spill blood, red blood. I
mean, if you're in Puerto Rico and you kill a whole bunch of Puerto Rican, I'm not saying we do this. That is you are spilling Puerto Rican blood. I'm just saying, like, but if you're in the Bronx and you kill a bunch of like New Yorkers, you're not, you know what I mean? You're not spilling Puerto Rican blood. You killed a bunch
of Puerto Ricans in the Bronx. That's still spilling Puerto Rican blood.
But this is what's weird about it, though. Like, this is like, that's to tell you, even the people from there, like, no, we don't want you. Like, you're good. You left. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like, and what's the best thing though? The best thing that I love to do, and I think this is the most enjoyment if anyone can ever do this. If you can find a Puerto Rican and a Dominican, try to argue which side of the island is the best. That is the best thing to do. That is the most enjoyment I've ever had in my life, is trying to get two people to argue which side is better.
Yeah, because and it's funny because they do that. They'll base it off music, woman, like who dresses who. You know what I'm saying? Like they have a listing and would try to see which race is the better race. You know what I'm saying? Puerto Rico, Dominicans, whatever the case would be. But it's a pride thing, man. I got a Puerto Rican flag tattooed on me. That's my first tattoo. It's just, I got Puerto Rico boxing gloves hanging on my rearview mirror in my car. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we're just prideful people on the fact that we're Puerto Rican.
The people are not even proud. The people are like, just only want to count you. They're not like, yo, you're our brother. They're like, no, we're good, man. Like,
right. No, but,
we're done.
I always tell them, like, when they be like, oh, where you from? I'm from Brooklyn. I said, but my parents are from this city in Puerto Rico. And they're like, okay.
It's like your mother. We accept your mother.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, those army cats, man, they were like, oh, you're not. Tú no eres de la isla. And I'd be like, what the fuck ever, dude. Just keep it moving, bro.
Be like, dude. But it's true though, man. Like everywhere, like people. That's always amazed me. Like, because I am Mexican. People always like. And what I loved about it was when I was in Japan, I'd be like, oh, I'm Mexican. They'd be like, oh, you're from Mexico? I was like, no, I'm from Texas. And even then, they would just look at me and be like, no, you're not. And then you're like, it's kind of like, which one are you then? And so that's why, like, now when people are like that, I'm like, I'm American, man. Like, I've spent so many time overseas where, like, no one really cared about whether or not you were, what color you were, what kind of like race or anything. Just, are you American? Yes or no? And so that's why now I'm like, oh, I'm American. And a lot of times, which is really weird. And I think I'll circle back to the tattoo part. I kind of wish I didn't get my tattoos, honestly. Really? I really wish I didn't get them. Yeah. So I got 2 sleeves. I'm sleeved out. Yeah. If I had a chance to go over, I wouldn't get any tattoos. So the reason why for that is, unfortunately, we do live in a place, I think, where the way you look matters. I do believe in that. And being Mexican, having tattoos, and kind of not being a smiley, go happy person that I am, right?
Correct.
What I see on TV, right? Like, it's true. Like, you see me in pictures. Like, everyone knows I'm not happy at that moment. Everyone knows. But at that point, though, right? So you see that. And what you see on TV, I cannot help but understand why people sometimes are a little, like, weary of me. They don't know me. They don't know anything about that. But what's currently on TV for Mexicans in general or Latinos is nothing positive, really. Correct. There's nothing you see with a tattoo guy doing good things in this world. And so it does hinder you in a sense. And I cover mine up. I really don't like people to see my tattoos. Being a realtor, I hide all my tattoos. I don't let my clients see them. I just don't generally like to show them off in general. I don't like to be in business settings with that. And because you do see a difference when people do see your tattoos. And so what I'll do is I'll cover them up, and then maybe a year or two later, somebody might see me again without tattoos and be like, oh man, I never knew you had tattoos. But it's a different, they're like, oh man, I didn't know you had tattoos. No big deal. Versus when they first meet me, like, holy shit. Like the first thing they think is like, whoa, what's going on here? Like you're a little bit, And if I could, I'd get my hands done. I want to get my neck done. Like, I want more tattoos for sure.
Yeah.
But I would not get them if I had a chance to do it all over again.
Right. Yeah, I agree, man. I like tattoos. I want to get some more, but I'm not a sleeve guy. Like, I don't want to do a whole arm. Like, I wouldn't mind just still covering my body, you know, chest, back, maybe the sides or whatever the case, even maybe on my calves or something. But I can't do the sleeves. But you're right. We live in a biased society, man. Everybody, they judge, they, you know, make judgment. They don't even get to know the person first. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, they'll see you, here's a Hispanic with 2 sleeves, you know what I'm saying? And then, of course, if you're not socializing, automatically there's something wrong with this person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe he has a background where he's been in jail, whatever the case would be. But then until they get to know you, then they'll be like, oh, wow, you got tattoos? What does this tattoo mean? You know, they create a rapport. But yeah, it's and that's why I told my nephew, I was like, I understand you got 2 now. I was like, but, you know, just be careful, because as you get older, like you said, you got to start thinking about afterwards when you go to job interviews next and everything else. You know, some companies don't like that. They don't like to see the tattoos exposed. You know what I'm saying? But I just make sure you get things that are meaningful to you. Don't just be doing some random shit. But yeah, I want to get me some more tattoos. But I mean, it kind of sucks, like you said, that there's people who fucking just stereotype that way.
Well, real quick, though, this is why I don't get mad about it. Because I know if I meet someone with a face tattoo, I'm like, holy shit, like something had to happen. Like, and that's how it is. And so that's why why it doesn't bother me, because they're generally older. Right. And so there's people in their 70s, like you know, to have tattoos, he was a rebel. Right. And now it's like the same thing. But if there's somebody with like if they had like 4 or 5 tattoos all over their face, I'm going to be a little cautious of that dude. I'm like, whoa, like that's a permanent decision right there. You went on your face, because I'm only willing to do my hands. And so that's how I equate it too, as well. It's like, it's not personal. It's just from what that person is willing to do. Right. If you're willing to get tattoos and kind of doing that. And some people are like, you went sleeve. Like, I'm not willing to go that far. Everyone has their own thing. And that's why I think a lot of times is. And that's why I say, like, it's not personally, it's not at me. It's just, you know, well, I would never get tattoos, so having full sleeves is a lot to that person. Which is, if you're not willing to have no tattoos and you got face tattoos, that person's like, holy shit, you went the extra mile, because, you know. But that's the same thing, right? Like, we judge people with face tattoos, like, oh man, you went really far, right? And so it's not personal. And also too, man, like, it's just, you know, I mean, I look at that sitting there saying, man, there's a I don't look at it as a negative. Like, there's no positive role models for Latinos in the news and this and this and that. Well, then fine, I'll be one. I'll be a nice person. When you meet me, I'm nice, I'm courteous, I'm respectful. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. You know what I mean? Like that. Yes, please. Okay, cool. Even when I go out and I have my tattoo showing, yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you. We're at a restaurant. I'm cleaning up the table. Like, I'm pre-busting it for them to help them out. Like, I'm going to be a nice person, because I understand. Right. And so I don't get mad, that they have this thought, because they don't know me. So they're only protecting themselves. But what I'm going to try to do is try to be a good fucking person, because, you know, like, what's in the news about us and all this shit, like, it's never good shit. Like, there's never something saying like, hey man, this tattooed guy was fucking saved a kid. Never. And so instead of being down on himself, I just look at it and they're saying like, fuck it, like, I'll be that guy. But second thing, what is up? Like, so that's about the tattoo. What is it about men getting another band of men or a DJ on their arm, like, or on their body? I don't understand that context. Like, what is it about this dude that is so amazing? It's like almost like, I know if I was in right now, and your nephew and I we're like that, I would sit there and say like, would you suck his dick? Like, I would just ask that question, like you got his a DJ, like, and it's like a DJ. Like, again, I think what they do is talented, but end of the fucking day, those motherfuckers are just pressing a button. And from what I've seen, don't know much about EDM, ignorance right here.
Right.
They literally are just dancing a lot and having a good time, pumping up the crowd, and that's really what they're doing. Right. But they can't sing. I mean, of course, they must have an ear and doing that stuff. But some of them are the dorkiest, goofiest looking motherfuckers ever in this world. And a lot of them wear masks, which I assume is because they look dorky, even more dorky. But motherfuckers wear masks now, and like, that's a persona. Like, they're a fucking artist. So what is it about would you get an EDM tattoo on you or something like that?
Hell no. I wouldn't do that shit at all. I've never been, no, don't get me wrong. I would look up to athletes, you know what I'm saying? Like Michael Jordan. I like Michael Jordan. You know, there's some actors that I really like Denzel Washington. But you ain't gonna fucking see me walking around my check with fucking Denzel Washington's face and fucking Michael Jordan's logo on me or the number 23. I've seen people do basketballs because they play that as a profession. You know what I'm saying? I even seen other athletes like wrestlers. They'll get a tattoo of a wrestling ring because that's now their profession. Yeah. I will see different type of things. But again, these people are millionaires. You know what I'm saying? Like they're in that field. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Of course, boxers, they get boxing glove tattoos on them because, again, that's their profession.
Yeah.
He idolizes Avicii. I idolize certain athletes. I idolize some DJs because I really like what they produce, what they come out with and everything. I love their music. But to that's the extent. Like, I'm not going out and getting fucking Avicii's name tattooed on my body. You know what I'm saying? But Avicii was incredible. Like, at 23 years old, this dude already conquered the world of EDM. Like, this dude was the top DJ. He was doing features with a lot of artists. Like, he was doing songs with them and everything. Even though, you know, these DJs, EDM DJs can't sing or rap or anything, but they're producing with rappers, R&B artists and things like that, to where now they're selling millions and millions of records worldwide. David Guetta now is the number one guy. David Guetta is the number one EDM DJ. But the other thing with Avicii is he took his own life. He was depressed and everything else. So a lot of fans gravitated to, when he passed away, a lot of them were getting Avicii tattoos on them because they just lost somebody that they truly loved. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the world of basketball when we, you know, rest in peace, we lost Kobe Bryant. I'm sure there were people that went out there and got the number 8 on tattooed on them, the number 24, his face, Lakers. You know what I'm saying? So these people, they do, you know, they idolize these people enough to where they're like, yo, let me get the tattoo of him. And, you know, he likes EDM, but I wouldn't. I love EDM, but I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
I can't imagine doing that at all. And this is the reason why. And this is my whole thing with like actors and all these people. I'm like, they don't even know who the fuck you are. So why like, that's why I would never get it. Like, all my tattoos are just a journey for me, right? They're that type of thing. But I can't imagine even somebody that I like. I don't think there is anyone that I'm like, dude, I have to go see this. I have to go be a part of it because this person. I generally just don't give a flying fuck. So I'm just like, you know, even when like somebody famous passes away and they'll be like, oh my God, it ruined my day, or I'm so sad, and I'm like, they don't even know who you are. Like, I don't understand it. I really don't. I really, truly, not trying to be funny or anything. They don't give a fuck about me. So I don't understand why I should really be worried about them. And they should have no reason to give a fuck about me. I wasn't their friend. Right. Like, and so that's why I kind of don't feel that connection.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You hit it right there. Is you don't have the connection with them. You know what I'm saying? I don't
give a fuck.
But they have the connection with them because as fans.
Yeah.
Dave Matthews Band. You know how many people got the initials DMB tattoo on them? He does his symbols like a firefly. A lot of people get those tattoo on them.
Really?
I mean, these fans just love these bands, these DJs or whatever. That's how, like you said, your tattoos are your journey. For them, those journey is that band, because sometimes, you know, music helps people get through things. You know what I'm saying? If life is hard, some people will reflect on this band and let their music fucking help them get out of being depressed or things like that. So there is some sort of meaning behind it. Again, Avicii was his love for Avicii and everything else. So that's partly his journey, that Avicii's song, his music helped him through some rough times. Who knows? Same thing with pretty much everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
I would still ask him though if he would suck his dick, just to be like, would you do it? Like,
I'm surprised you don't have my face tattooed on you after all the things I've done for you. I looked out for you, took you under my wing, and everything else. You should have my face tattooed on your body. Or
it would be what version though? What version of Izzy? Because we got like fucking homeless Izzy. We got like Izzy's not doing so well right now, Izzy. We got Izzy right now who's like, I'm becoming more respectable. What version are we talking about? And just it was just as long as we've been on the show together. There's been there like sometimes you'll come on the video like, Jesus, you okay, man? Like your beard doesn't look capped. Like, Now you just kind of went away from it.
I was like, yo, I need to get rid of it because it's getting hot in Florida again. Thank God, the fucking cold front is leaving us. But with the heat, now I'm back in the gym. So the heat and everything else, working out and everything, that shit fucking stays there. So you fucking sweat more. And I was like, man, I gotta get rid of this shit. But I'm back in the gym, baby. I'm back in the gym. It feels so good to be back in the gym. You don't even know. I'm lifting 10 pounds, but I'm back in the gym. I'm back in there.
Hey, at your age, you got to take it careful.
But like you said, what's your new 100, right? That's my new 100. If I got to stay lifting 10 pounds to the end of the year to get my body back, then hey. But again, like you said, I got to be smart. I can't afford to re-injure myself and end up fucking back under the knife trying to get the shit fixed again.
Which happens a fucking lot, man.
Go.
So, as we start bringing this down, I want to take this time to embarrass the shit out of my little daughter. Like, she don't care now, but I'm hoping that this is hopefully eventually she can listen to this in the future. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping this will go on to do it. And so, because I told her about this and she was like, I don't care. I was like, I'm going to do it at your wedding. She was like, I don't care. I'm like, we'll see. Anyways, so my daughter's 8 years old and she's different, right? Like, she don't care. She's weird. And so we were having a conversation and she was saying like, like a difference between a wet fart, right? Like she's like fart and it's like wet. And I was like, hey, you gotta be careful. That's how you shit yourself. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, that's how grown men shit themselves, is because they start doing it, right? And so we had a conversation. We're talking about like, hey, like, and I told her like, if you think you're gonna do it and you feel like it might be, like, just go ahead and just go. Like, she's 8, like, just go to the toilet and just figure it out. You'll be fine. No big deal. And so like my wife goes into her restroom. She has her own restroom, and she finds underwear in the sink. And my wife's like, what happened? She's like, oh, it was a wet fart. He came out some more. And so it's just like, Jesus Christ, kid. Like, but it's just like at age, she don't understand at all. Like, the shame was just like not there. It was like, oh, it was a wet fart, but it just went south today. Just a little shit came out. Like, but yeah, that's her right there. That's my daughter almost in a nutshell. It's just like, I'm going to try and decide, is this a wet fart? Is this a fart or is this a shit? And just sometimes they come out. So yeah, that's my little one right there.
You're absolutely right. When this gets shown to her, when she's like 13, 14, you know what I'm saying? She's with her friends and everything else, and you show her this and yo, you did a wet fart, she's gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, it's gonna really sink in the whole intentions of you telling her, just go. If you don't know, it's not gonna be a regular fart, because if you push and that shit stains your shit, that's embarrassing, dude. You know what I'm saying? And as you get older, I'm telling you, God forbid that can happen to you in public because you didn't care to think about if it's a wet fart or not. And here you are walking around with shit on yourself around.
Oh, hell no. You go commando at that point. You just sitting there saying like, just throw it in the toilet.
You go to the toilet and you take off those underwears and you throw them away. Clean yourself and then throw them away.
But what's crazy though is like, he's like, we're talking about it and she's telling me, like, hey, this and that. And it's funny because it's like, oh yeah, like, you're at the age where you don't really, like, she has a little bit of it. She has a little bit of it. Like, the other day I was like, hey, do you think you're pretty? And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, do you think you're pretty? And she's like, I don't know. I was like, hey, you're beautiful. I love you. You know what I mean? Like, there's that, right? There's that part of the world where like most girls, they don't know how they look or whatever. And there's the other part of her where she's like, yeah, so what? I shit on myself right now. I don't care. Like, I don't, like if like when she would pee in the bed, like, you pee in the bed and she'd be like, there's a little bit of shame, but not much. And it's like getting to that point where it's like, where's that point where, when I bring up the story and she's like 15, 16 years old, it's like, oh my God, how dare you tell this story? And I just ruined her life. And then it's like, we're waiting to the point where you get to her wedding and be like, how do you work that story into the wedding where it's like, gotcha, I've been waiting for this long time. And I'm happy to do it. Cause like, there's a video of her, like we had, I think we're in a house and we had cat food and it was like on the floor. So she picked it up and I was like, hey, you should eat it. And she's like, okay. And so you can hear her like in the video and you can hear the crunch where it actually crunch. And she's like, oh, and it's like, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's like, I think she was like 4 and it's like, I'm saving these things. These are these moments that I'm saving because there's gonna be a point where you care. And I'm just going to be that, like, I want to be that dad. I want to be that dad who's like, look, man, hey, we're having fun. Like, at some point, you can't be too serious as yourself as a parent. You got to sit there and say, like, hey, man, like, we're here to have fun. I'm here to embarrass you. And, like, I don't even take myself so serious. And also, it's like, it's also for the event in the future. Like, just don't take yourself too serious. Sometimes, man, I think that's just general advice to anybody. Like, there's some points to sit there and say, like, hey, man, just, you're fine. No, like life's not that too serious. Like there sometimes it's serious, but right now, just don't take it too serious and just enjoy it.
Right, absolutely, man. And she's gonna get mad at you when you expose her. But at 8 years old, nobody knows any better. You know what I'm saying? So she's still just like, oh, it happened. Yeah. But as you get older, your settings change, your environment changes. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're hanging out with your friends, you're at sleepovers, whatever the case would be. You can't afford a wet fart. You cannot afford that. Because now it's going to be like social media. Look what she did. Fucking from dirty underwear in the sink.
Yeah. And it was just funny because she was like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, because my wife's like, what are you doing? She's like, it's a wet fart. And it's just kind of like, it's like, duh, everyone knows this. Like, you don't know sometimes, it's just my wife's like, oh my God. And I was just like, that's why I try to tell you those little advice. Like, hey man, been there, done that type of stuff, man. You only learn that like doing that. Like, you gotta be careful, There's sometimes when you see people, and it's funny. It's like, if you go, I like going to the mall. I like people watching. I like watching them. And there are some people where you can tell they're about to shit themselves because they have that certain kind of walk where, like, there's a walk, but if you're going towards the restroom, there's some people who walk very stressed. Like, you can tell they're like, holy shit, I am pushing it. I'm either going to shit myself or I did. I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't come out. Like, there's two different walks in people, mainly guys. I think guys are probably the worst ones. But
I've had times where I had to clench the butt cheek. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna come out. And there were moments that I would be like, I have to walk a certain way because if I try to like rush the walk or just normal pace, things were gonna come out, and I couldn't afford that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not one. I can't, like, if I'm out in a restaurant, unless I really have to go, I won't do it. Like, I'll just wait till I get back home. I don't know. There's just something about my own bathroom. I just like to do it in there, but I can't do it unless I really have to go. Then I'll fucking blow up that restaurant's bathroom. But for the most part, if I could wait till I get back, then I'll just wait till I get back. But
go ahead.
I was gonna say the wet farts, those do scare you because you're like, oh, I just got a fart, and then when you throw that fart and it's like, then you're like, oh, fuck, I just sharded myself.
Yeah, I have a friend. I think he listens to, so hopefully he listens to this one. I'm talking about him. So we're good friends, and he got his gallbladder taken out, and so the lack of like giving a fuck at all, if he's gonna like feeling that little bit of comfort, he don't care two shits. He don't care. Like, he can go in there and just do it. Like, he just like don't have no more gallbladder. I guess that's one of the effects or something like that. And he just like don't care. Right. He can go blow it up and just walk out and just be like, hey, what's up, man? Like, just like. Whatever happened, he just accepted it. It happened so many times where he's just like, I don't care if it's a porta potty. I don't care if it's a nice restaurant. Ooh. I don't care where we're at. I gotta go. We're gonna go. And just, I don't. The one place, man, that I feel weird about is the fucking like airports. They're creepy, man. Like, shit in the airport is like, I think it's like, I don't know, like when you're there, you gotta like kind of hurry up and get out. But there's some people, man, like, I think it's because you can see a little bit. So it's like creepy. It's like, correct. Because you see some people looking through, like, can I come through? It's like, bro, there's feet on the floor, man, obviously. Like, there's luggage. Like, just look at the floor. Don't look at me. Like, 'cause sometimes you meet eyes with people and you're like, bro, you look into my soul. What the fuck is wrong with you?
See, but at least in the airport, you're going in there with so much traffic coming in and out of there. Not many people can focus that you took a shit. Compared to a restaurant, you know what I'm saying? Like a diner. If I saw you eat and get up and go to the bathroom and you're not out like right away, I'm going to be like, this homeboy just took a nice dump in there. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in the airport, there's so much traffic going on. People constantly moving that no pay attention really is on you when you just need to go in there to take a shit. And their stalls are the most covered. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. A lot of some of these other stores is not as covered as much, you know what I'm saying? So you could see the people's fucking pants down below and everything else. But I just can't. I don't know, the restaurants, again, if I have to go, I'll go. But like you, I have friends that would be like, who gives a fuck? It's a toilet, right? And I need to take a shit, so I'm going to take a fucking shit. And they'll come out like, woo! Oh, man, I'm so glad I let that out. Now I could order some more food and shit.
And you're just like, dude, like, you have like that, like, there's no shame. There's even some people I've seen it, like, you have like someone like a janitor or someone go clean the restroom. There's some people be like, I don't give a fuck, man. She might be cleaning, but I'm gonna go in there and blow it up. I'm like,
Yes.
dude, like to me, there's like, if you gotta go, maybe, but try to be like discreet. Some people are like, man, I'm getting comfortable. They start like lighting a candle in there. They just put their feet up and they just like, we're in here for 20, 30 minutes now. We're just here to relax and pour. Every time I've seen it, it's always been like some older lady, and you're just like, damn, like,
and the noises,
mopping and fucking cleaning shit. Just, ugh. Oh yeah,
the noises,
fucking air. Hear, like, you can just smell it.
All sorts of fucking effects coming out of there. I'm like you. I like try to be discreet. You know, I'll do the courtesy flush at the beginning, and then I'll try to do it when I was flushing. But some dudes close that door and they're just like, ba ba ba, broo, ba broo, like it's fucking World War III up in that bitch, and they have no give a fuck, no fucks whatsoever.
No. What's crazy is I read this one article, and this has always made me paranoid ever since. I read an article saying it was when I first came in. And so I read an article saying they had to shut down a courthouse because everyone had crabs because of the toilets. I guess somebody who had crabs went to go use the restroom and then like that. Right. And so ever since then, I've been that's why I don't like going anywhere else. I always have to put the toilet down, paper down. Airports have to put that, you know what I mean? I have to always use those ones because I've always been creeped out ever since. And I will always be disgusted if a motherfucker does not use that at a restaurant. If it's your own house, man, do what the fuck you want to do. It's your own house. Like, of course, you know who's doing it, right?
Right.
But man, if you go to a restaurant, I don't care how nice that shit is, and you don't put a piece of toilet paper down to cover your ass between it, that freaks me out. That's a little bit creepy in a sense.
And even like the washing hands, I can't stand that, dude. Like I'll be in there washing my hands, and I see some dude just come out of the store and just leave. I'm like, really? Like, what the fuck? Why is this here? Why is there soap here? Why is there 3 fucking faucets here when all you're gonna do is just? I had a guy that I used to work with over in Jersey. He never, after every time he urinated, will come out and never wash his hands. And you know what his defense was? Oh, I don't pee on my hands. And everybody's like, dude, but you're still grabbing your shit. You're still touching your shit. And then you're gonna come around and be like, yo, what's up? And you're going to give love to everybody else. So once we got word of that, nobody ever shook his hand. He would be like, hey, how's it going? And nope, sorry, can't do it. But that was his logic. He's like, I'm not peeing on my hands. So he would never wash it, but I can't stand that either, man.
I've seen some people do it, man. They'll go in there, like they'll go and take a shit. They'll literally come out, like get the water, rub it through there, get their face and blow boogers. And be like, all right, let's roll. You're like, the fuck is this shit? But I'm pretty sure when Corona was going around, they were the ones who didn't get it because they've been just used to just that bacteria shit. But yeah, I'm like, every time I see, like, you know, you'll be in a urinal and you'll just be like, you know, you can still look around and you see that guy go in there shaking his hand. You're just like, whoa. And then you go out, look at him. You're like, dude, do not go near that guy.
Yeah, they come out and they go to their fucking girlfriend or some shit. Like, hey, baby, what's going on?
Eating pizza and shit, so they're eating with their hands and shit like that. Looking at the bread.
Motherfucker, man. Hey, you guys want to share some appetizers? Right now, dude. Right now.
Actually, we'll end this one on this one. We'll end this on this, and I want to get your opinion on this. But so I was telling my daughter, like, I was trying to teach her, again, 8 years old, don't fucking double dip. Like, you don't double dip. Like, if you want to double dip, get your own shit, right? Because I think that's some of the rudest shit in the world. Like, you know, and her logic was like, what's a big chip? And I was like, I don't care if it's a big chip. Break it in half, or whatever you dipped is all you got. What do you think?
I'm a double dipper, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So if I'm over in your crib, you just better give me my own little bowl or something like that. Because I'm like, bite, bloop, bloop, bite. I'll even triple dip if I have to. If that chip is a big chip, I'm triple dipping that bitch up in there. No, but I had to learn because you never know who. There are people like you that don't like that. So if I'm over at somebody's house, now that I know that, if I'm at your house, I'll make sure I don't double dip. You might catch me slipping here and there, like if we're talking, laughing, I might slip and like double dip. But for the most part, I'll be like, okay, I know this person doesn't like that, so let me not. But I double dip all the time, man. Especially if I'm at my house eating, and there's only one sauce. They gave us one sauce. I'm double dipping. With family.
Like I said, if it's at your house, my thing is like if we're at my house and I want to double dip, like, you know, of course it's the 3 of us. But my whole thing is like a general setting. Like if you're hosting at your house and I go to your house and I'm like, nice chip, put it bite and then go right back in.
And they'll go,
I don't, man.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, okay, like if we go somewhere to a party and you see dip, my logical thing is I get chips and then I will get a spoon. Hopefully there's a spoon provided, or I'll get a chip that I have not touched yet and I'll scoop and put more on my plate and then I'm good to go. But yeah, my daughter was just like, that doesn't, like, to her, the logic was like, the chips just big enough. Like, why would you do it? And so my wife and I are like, no, like that's gross. Like, but we're very weird like that in a sense of like, you know, like, hey, like you don't do that to other people's shit. Like, and again, trying to express it to an 8-year-old is just like her ideas. She's still trying to figure out the idea. Like, why don't you ever? There's a reason why you don't test that wet fart. She hasn't got that far yet. So, trying to tell her like, don't double dip. She's just like, chips big enough, and I'm here. And it's like, well, when we go out to eat, you know, it's fine, but when we're at people's parties, like you can't like a goon all the time and just like civilized. Start eating with your hands, start like, you know, using your fingers for like dips or some shit.
Yeah, I'm like, if I'm in a house, I'll ask, is there a spoon for the salsa? Can I get a spoon? That way I could, well, I'll grab a plate and I'll put enough. So if I ever want to come back for chips, same thing. But now how do you do your chips, right? Because you're going to go back in and put it on your thing, then you're going to grab some more out of that bowl. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
those ones I like to like get it and try to they'll do it. Like I know a lot of people, man. There's some people, and normally this is weird. This is when race comes into play. There are certain people, minorities included, a lot of time. Actually, you know what? I will skip that. I'll ask you a general question. This will be the last question, and this is a question that was we had it when we were in the military, and like how the results came out was depending on race. So I'm gonna get your opinion on this one. Chips. My thing on that one, chips a little weird, but I know some people, if things are open, people won't even touch it. Like, you know, that's just how some people are. Anyways, there was a question when we were in, and it's still true this day, right? When you take a shit, blouse on or blouse off?
I take the blouse off.
Right? It seems common sense, right?
It's comfortable.
There were some people... Well, there were some people that'd be like, they leave the blouse on. I was like, why the fuck would you leave your blouse on?
That's ridiculous.
Like, there's just, it's hot. It's like long sleeve. You're going to have to like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a chance for, this is weird. Again, it was based off of race, and majority, and then I mean majority of like 100% minorities, all said the same thing. Why the fuck would you keep on your blouse?
Right.
And the other guys were white, and so it was weird. The reason why I bring that up is, of course, in the military, everything's about race in a sense, because we're all coming from different backgrounds. And so we find our commonalities. And that was one of the things where, even to this day, if you have a jacket on, or if you have a shirt, like if you have a long sleeve shirt on, if you're going out, you take that bitch off. I don't know why you would keep it on. I just don't know why. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, that is crazy. Every time I had to use the bathroom, if it was to do number 2, that blouse is coming off. It made no sense, because
even a polo shirt.
Number one, you want to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So doing your business, why are you going to have all this extra shit on there when you're doing, I mean, you're already taking a shit. You know what I'm saying? And then by you trying to wipe your ass, you might get some doo-doo stains on your sleeves. You know what I'm saying? But I won't take a polo shirt off. I'll just, you know, roll it up like I'm wearing like a stomach shirt. But I'll just, if I have long sleeves, like let's say if I have a button down on, but if I don't have it tight, like I'll just roll my sleeves up or whatever, and I'll roll the shirt up to make it seem like I almost don't have the shirt on. Why would you take off
even if you have a button up, you have a button up and you're gonna actually still take a shit with a button up on?
Yeah, because I'll roll the bottom all the way up to sort of give me like where I'm just exposing my stomach area and everything else. It'll just get rolled up. I don't have time to unbutton all those buttons to hang it, take a dump, and then put it all back on. I'll just roll that bitch up.
It's the same shit.
And just take a shit. I know. I just won't take it. A blouse with a shirt underneath it, yes, I'll take the blouse off. Now, if I was wearing like a jacket or something like that, yes, that shit is gonna come off too. I'm not gonna be taking a shit with that on. But for anything else, just roll that bitch up.
So
like
you're saying
I have a half shirt on.
So you're saying that when you wear button-ups, you don't wear any other shirt underneath it? You just wear just no shirt?
Just with no shirt.
Really?
Yeah.
You just decide not to be a gentleman at all and just want to go just
Why would I wear it? Why would I? You got to be ready to go.
It looks nicer. Yeah, that's why he's saying. Just take off your blouse. You got another shirt. It does look nicer.
Now I'll wear sometimes a tank top underneath it, depending. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm going to a nightclub, I'm not gonna wear a fucking extra shirt underneath. I'm gonna be sweating from dancing and everything else. So
I forgot. You go there to actually enjoy your time and
that's
kick up
right.
your feet and
Viva some salsa, some merengue. Viva Puerto Rico. Because I'm this. 'Cause I'm a fucking beast, baby.
Oh.
Beast.
you should wear that. I feel like you're that guy who goes up to girls and be like, "I'm the beast. What's going on, baby? Let's dance." And you're just like dancing
I'm
with
the
her.
Tasmanian devil. I'm the Tasmanian devil. See, but here's my saving grace is that I know how to dance. That's different. So if I'm gonna ask you, if I'm gonna pull you out to dance, I'll be like, "What's up? What's up? Wepa dale, here we go. What's up?" See, now in your case, they'd be like, "Yo, what's up with your Spanish friend? He dance?" Sorry, mama, he can't dance.
I can dance. I just don't want to.
There. You know how to dance?
Yeah,
like what, bachata, merengue, and all that?
Merengue.
I gotta see. I have to see. You gotta do a video.
You gotta start getting more liquor in me. Salsa, I can dance a little bit, but my feet get tied up. What happens is I start enjoying it and start getting that, and that's when I get out of a rhythm. I have to but I'm too tense. But bachata, I like to dance. The wife and I love to dance bachata. We would go on dates and we like to go, and so we enjoy that together.
Did you take
here
lessons?
in Lubbock?
You took bachata lessons?
It's just,
you just okay.
No, it's just a cumbia, and then plus, like being in Honduras, we dance all the time. So you could always I don't even remember. That was the only time I would dance. That was it. Yeah, bachata I would dance. But when they go to others, I'm like, no, man.
Yeah, no.
Start looking at it. How much vodka have I had? I haven't had enough. We're good. Like we're not. I don't give a fuck yet. So
yeah,
we're not sloppy yet. So we're not gonna dance.
Bachata,
I've always liked it.
I gotta see a video because, again, in your social outings, you're not that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like you're very. I don't want to be here person. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just imagine, like, if me and you went to a Spanish club, I can't picture Mike dancing bachata. I can't.
But what I do like about this, though, and even in Okinawa, they have a thing called salsatinas, which is they have like a salsa movement over there. Like a lot of people from, I forgot where they're from, but a lot of Japanese during World War II fled over there and they came back. I think from Peru and somewhere other places, but they went to Latin America. And so you will see Japanese that can get down, man. They can fucking dance. Peruvians, like they went to Peru and they went like that. You'll see some like half Peruvian, half Japanese, and they went back to Japan. It's like they have salsa lessons and shit like that. They can dance. They really can. And they have clubs. And what I like about salsa clubs is the vibe, man. It's just a different kind of vibe than like a hip hop club's more aggressive to me. Right. But man, if you go to a Spanish club and someone wants to dance with you, that doesn't mean really that much, right? There's a lot of innocence that could happen, right? Like, but if you're going to like a hip hop club, there's not really much innocence when I want to dance with you. I'm trying to act like I'm going to fuck you so you get what I'm working with in a sense. But Spanish clubs, man, you can go and just dance with anyone. And it's just like, it's the fun. And so it allows me to calm down because like we're all here to have fun. And and then plus like if you put on bachata, man, bachata is some of the most like chill music in the world where you're like, it calms me down, but at the same time makes me want to move. And so the vibe is different, of course, like, you know, so that's the reason why Spanish clubs are a little bit different, but go to hip hop clubs. I think it's more aggressive, and a guy who wants to dance with your wife in a Spanish club versus a guy who wants to dance, like, there's a little bit difference, right? Because there's different, even bachata can get you can dance with your best friend.
Yeah,
it can be, but also it can be very short where you know it's not erotic, and then you can be like, so that's what kind of is it. But if they're playing music and you're dancing and it's a slow song, in a hip hop club, there is no way to make it seem like we're just friends. There's not. It's just how it goes, right? It is what it is. But salsa is a little bit different, right? Like I think it's the environment, it's the people. You can go there and dance with people, and it's like, and there's people like you that are like, hey, I just love to dance, and they want to dance with anybody and everybody. And a lot of times when I'm tired, go dance with this person or da da da. And so that's why.
Yeah. Plus, if you really know how to dance and you know what you're doing, you'll get more requests from people, like other girls, to come up to you and be like, hey, will you dance with me? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when you go to Spanish club, the woman love if the man knows what to do. Because, you know, the man leads. The man is leading the turns, he's leading the movement and everything else. So if you could be a guy that knows how to dance, trust me, a lot of these girls will always be like, yes, I'll dance with you. Yes, I'll dance with you. But if you can't if you don't have rhythm in your hips and you can't move, you don't know how to turn them and everything else, you're out of luck there. See, now the thing with bachata though, you got to also be able to turn in bachata. A lot of people who dance bachata just stay doing the motion in bachata. There's nothing else to it, and that's okay because that's the form of the movement. You know what I'm saying? But if you could add a spin or two, that girls would be like, "Damn, this dude knows what he's doing."
Yeah.
Like me with bachata, I could probably do maybe 2-3 turns here, and then I'll get back to doing the normal pace. But at least, you know, I'll give the lady a spin though. You know what I'm saying? I'll have to teach you. I'll come and teach you.
I tried to do the spins. Like, you got to feel like, are we like, never mind, fuck it. We'll go back to regular programming, which is good though. It allows you to recover.
Are you the one going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3?
Yeah. Then I'm like, all right, I'm trying to feel it, and then like, all right, here comes a turn. You're like, oh shit, here's a misstep, and then like everyone's that one, and you're like, all right, back to what we know, back to our square, and just stick right here.
Back to our square dancing. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. But yeah, man. So definitely, man. I'm glad we talked about some different things on that one. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed it. And then until next time.